there YouTube, I'm Dean the Vaping Biker, and today we're just going to do a quick Sunday vlog as we tend to do. Now, as usual, I'm terribly unplanned. I've got no notes this week or anything, so we're going to kind of just make up as we go along, but I am going to try and be quick, as I say at the start of every one of them. So, cheers to you. I hope you're having a good Easter weekend and doing all things Eastery and feeling horribly sick after eating far too much chocolate and all that good stuff. So I know I certainly got into a bunch of chocolate last night and it was lovely. Don't need it. Fat enough already. But there you go. Now then, what else? What have we got? Let's have a little look-see about what we've been through. So over the last week, hey, you see, look, not to put my phone on silent again. How do I still not silent my phone? Technology. I don't get it. Right. Okay, so we've had the Vaporesso review. That was the Vaporesso Taro review, which was such a shame. It really, really was. Why is my forehead glowing? Why is my forehead glowing? Is that going to change it? That's a little bit better, isn't it? It's such a shame because it had the promise to be a really, really good mod, but just unfortunately didn't live up to expectation, which was a bit of a shame. So if you haven't seen that, go back and check out that video that was at the start of last week. The Joytech IO, or all-in-one device, which I thought was superb. That was this little puppy here. And I still think this is a great little kit. I think it really is very, very cool. So it's certainly something that that I continue to use. Like I said in the review, when I'm kind of watching a film with the wife or something like that, and I don't want to blow a load of clouds. So that certainly gets used still. Although I may pass that on to a smoking friend at some point. And I think it's good to be able to pay these things forward as much as you can. I know it doesn't look like it with all of this, but there's a lot of stuff up there that looks more impressive than it actually is. And then we had the Kanger drip box review, which was as much of a shock to me as it was to anybody else, because I wholeheartedly, and I'm being honest, expected this to be a bit poo. And when I used the stock coils on it, the stock deck as it came, I wasn't overly impressed. I really wasn't. And then once I rebuilt it, it kind of came to life for me. It really did. And I think that's really because the standard deck, or the standard stuff that comes with it, is kind of it's meant for somebody just getting into squonking, potentially a reasonably new vapor, hence the removable decks and all that sort of stuff. It's still, if you watch the video, I went through how it fills up with juice, because it doesn't squonk as a normal squonker would. So it doesn't come up through the 510 and then straight out onto the deck and then all over the place. It works in a slightly different way, so you still do have to do quite a lot of kind of filling, and it might take a couple of pumps to get the juice to the deck. Yeah, it takes you a while to get to the vinegar stroke, but it does a good job. I think it really, really does still. And I think it just performs as I like to squonk. I like to have a fair bit of cloudage going on. I like a decent flavour as well. Who doesn't? But for me, it's that whole kind of feeling. Sure, the RDA does feel sort of quite cheap and cheerful, but it is. I mean, this is a kind of £30-35 set, which is nothing really. Pardon me, windy pops. Yeah, to have sort of 30-35 quid on a full setup with the mod and the RDA. Sure, you need to buy your own 18650 battery, and therefore you're going to need a charger for that. But as it is, I think it's brilliant. Love it. Big fan of that. Big fan of that. And for the money, I think it's excellent. So yeah, I mean, I've been squonking on that for a good couple of weeks before I did the review, to make sure nothing fell out or fell off or did anything dodgy, and I had no problems whatsoever. So yes, good work, Kanger. It's nice to see a decent product coming out again from you guys. I was awfully upset about the 200 watt box, so that has kind of put my face back in them again. Now, I've had quite a few people worryingly ask me if it leaks like the NE box, the knee box you did, or, well, it did for a lot of people. Mostly, though, people that put kind of not a thick high VG juice in it. But it works in a completely different way to the NE box or the knee box. So you know, go back and check out my review. I'll take you through the idea of what squonking is and how that works. So that should put your mind at rest for that. As I said to somebody, if you sort of over squonk it and then leave it on its side, it'll come out of the air hole in exactly the same way an RDA does if you sort of over drip it. So there's no big difference to that one. But just to be able to throw in your pocket and go, I think is the tits. Sick as, in fact. Now then, I've had a few other things come in that I'm going to show you. But coming up this week in the reviews will be the Hasta tank, which I have been having a jolly good time with, and I think it's actually really quite good. The biggest issue that I had with it was filling it, and because the top just pulls up, and when you just plop the top down, it goes all over the deck and leaks a lot. But essentially, if you put it down super slowly and kind of edge it down, then that seal doesn't create too much down pressure on the juice, so it's not actually too bad. The airflow on it is tip top. And it clouds like a monster. That's at 66.6 watts at the minute. And that is on a 0.56 coil as well. And that's jolly warm vape. That is a really warm vape. Because of the long chimney in it, a little bit of a spoiler, the flavour isn't as good as it could be, or isn't as good as we're used to with things like, obviously, things like the Mini Goblin and some of the smaller atomizers. But this Hasta RDTA, I think, is not too shabby, and I'll take you through that in the review. On there at the moment is, I've had a few bits and bobs from Grey Haze coming. Grey Haze in the UK. Now, this is the Helve by Asmodus. And it's been out a while. It's been out quite a while. Now, I said to Grey Haze that I wasn't overly interested because I don't like anything that looks gun-like. And this to me looks like you know, the someone will be able to tell me what it is. When you've got your barrel and you're aiming, you've got that extra grip in the front, haven't you? Rather than a main grip with a trigger. But anyway, that's me rambling. That's what it reminded me of. So I wasn't overly interested. They sent it anyway. And you know what? I am really pleased they did. It feels lovely. Now I know Grim Green reviewed it a while ago and said that it wasn't comfortable in his hand and he had to hold it some kind of random way. But for me, for my hands, I mean, I'm not huge, but I'm not a small bloke, and thanks to whoever it was who commented, I didn't see anything apart from your fat hands on one of the videos recently. Aces, that was really nice. Never had a hand fetishist follow me before, but there we go. So yeah, I mean, I think it's super comfy. It's kind of got a rubberized finish on it. The switch is nice and clicky. The power delivery is good. The battery life though, it's ridiculous. I've got a couple of HE2s in here at the moment, and it lasts an obscene amount. I mean, I'm generally around 66.6 or 77.7. I've been a bit OCD about my numbers this week, and it's gone really, really well. The battery life, like I say, I am absolutely stunned. And yeah, it's been also great for doing a couple of the larger tanks. Because I've had this tank, this goes out to 23 mil, I believe. But also, I have had this little bad boy turn up as well, which is the Vaporesso tank from Org Vape. Now this is a 25 mil bad boy, and it's fairly fucking huge, to be fair. Now I have, let me just pop it on here, because there is a nice little space around where you're putting your 510 on this Helve. This big bad boy tank Fits quite nicely on there, and it looks all right as well. There's no kind of major overhang or anything like that. So yeah, I've been quite happy with that. That's quite flush with that top piece. And it's been pretty cool having a tank with this much, the ability to hold this much juice. I mean, the Hasta RDTA, I think that holds about 7 mil of juice. This holds about 8, I think, which is fairly monstrous. I've got a couple of dual core Claptons in here, I think, or did I put them in that? I put them in one. I think I put them in this. Yeah. Once again, ridiculous airflow. All those holes along the sides there, obviously you can reduce those, but it's going really, really well. The only big issue that I'm going to be complaining my face off in the review about is the sheer amount of oil that was all over it. I have never, ever had a tank with this much oil in. I had to wash it so many times, put it in the sonic cleaner, keep washing it, and eventually I kind of got to where it was pretty much just about all gone. So I've vaped through a fair few tanks now, and it's all gone, thankfully. But yeah, so that was my biggest issue with it. As far as everything else, you're going to have to wait for the review, but it's not bad at all. Good stuff. Now, yeah, so this mod, I think I really do need to spend some more time with it. I haven't used the temp control on it. It doesn't do stainless, I don't think, which is a bit of a shame. Let's have a little look. System on. It's very much like an SX board. Oh, turned it off. It's very much like an SX board with the way that it has the kind of the menu system there. We've got modes, we've got brightness, exchange for doing stuff with. Let's have a look at that. Oh, in the mode section. Yeah, so we've got temp, and that's it. So I think that just works with NI200, but I am going to check through that. Like I say, I mean, I want to obviously do a proper job for you guys as usual. So let me just. Exchange, exit, exchange, no, exit on. There we go. Right. Clouds. So yeah, so they're both going really well. So the Helve may not be this week, it may be next week. I got it at about Tuesday of the week just gone, so I've not really had that long to play with it, but the time I have played with it, it's been great. The Ohm Wrecker, now this still needs to come up for review. I haven't forgotten about it. I have been using it, and to be honest, I've just had a pig of a time updating the software on the little netbook computer that I use. They are allegedly working on a way of updating it by Mac, and before anyone says it, I am not partitioning my drive. I'm not going to run it in boot camp or anything along those lines, because I'm not. So there. So hopefully I'll get to this. I'm going to try and update this weekend. I've got a fairly good handle on it as it works currently, and I'm looking forward to seeing what the updates do, because I think it's going to bring things together a little bit more. But yeah, I've just had a sort of a time, to be honest with you. Now, Grey Haze also sent me... Oh, no, before I go on to the Grey Haze stuff, I have also got from Vaporesso a tank. It's been all tanks recently. I've had enough tanks. Right, no more tanks. After the tanks I've done here, I'm just going on to RDAs and mods for a bit, because tanks. So this is the Vaporesso Gemini, which I am told is the same as something beginning with H, I think. Is it? Something beginning with H. Yeah, so the kind of that's what it looks like. We've got this airflow at the top here that does also go down. It's not an airflow directly to the drip tip, because they annoy me more than cheese. So yeah, so that goes down onto your coils as well. It's not a bad tank. It's not a bad tank at all. So I will be you know, giving this a damn good going over. But you can expect this review coming up this week. Pop the camera back to the normal one. Dun dun. Now then, I have been rocking this, going into some of the and the Plato from Aspire. That'll probably be out this week as well. I'm still rocking it with the Nautilus coils in it, purely because I have not found anywhere where I can get hold of the sub-ohm coils, those big bastards that I've talked about before. And it's still doing a cracking little job, you know, for what it is. It's the screen just always seems a bit blurry. Leave it for a few days and it does get a bit gurgly. Yeah, I think I've left that for 2 days. And it does get a little bit gurgly in the coil, but I think that's just a thing with the wick. I've not seen it leaking anywhere, which is good. Yeah, so this is probably going to get a review later next week, or in the coming week, should I say. Now, one of the cool things that I have got from Grey Haze, there's a big sort of fad at the moment for these side-by-sides, where you're having basically a box mod with a tank that fits inside it as well. And they very kindly sent me the Beyond Vape Athena, which has finger marks all over it, which is quite a big bugger, or Beyond Vape NV22, which I think is made by Athena, which is part of the whole Beyond Vape thing. And this is not a bad little mod at all. It's got a nice bright screen on it, lots of information on there, and it's pretty comfortable in the hand. The only thing that I've found slightly problematic is getting used to where you put your fingers, because if you hold it like you would do a normal mod like that, for instance, then you're covering up with that finger the air holes on your tank, which isn't ideal. So yeah, as long as you leave a little gap there for those air holes. I've been vaping it like that or like that. It's a little bit more difficult if you do it sort of with your finger firing, but as long as your thumb's there, then you're fine. And once again, another tank with a vast amount of airflow, and yeah. So there we go. The Gemini. So this week I am aiming for the Gemini, the Plato, the Hasta, RDTA, and whatever else I can fit in. Might do the Hasta V2. Actually, I did buy that as a squonking atomizer for myself, but I think it's worthy of going in and getting a review. That sounds a bit wanky, doesn't it? I think it should get a review, because as a cheap squonking atomizer, it's actually really good. It's a decent little atomizer if you're not squonking, but if you are squonking, then it's another option. And it's with things like the Kanger setup now. I think we're going to see more products that are able to be used for squonking, and that just makes me happy, because I'm a big squonker. So there we go. Now, Grey Haze were also kind enough to send me a moonshot, so I've got a moonshot at last, and this was one of those things I didn't end up going out and buying, purely because a lot of people have had these already. There's a lot of reviews on it, and you know, it's like the second coming. People going bonkers over it, and so because of that, I thought, well, it's not overly necessary for me to do it, especially on a reasonably limited vape budget currently. So I'm actually really pleased with how with the fact that Grey Haze sent this through to me, purely because it's not half bad. And Sigeli's packaging, by the way, for that, I mean, quite a few people are making mods out of these boxes now, which is pretty cool. But the packaging is bang on. It really is great. I'm dropping stuff everywhere, and things on the inside of the lid and stuff and info, and things and stuff and more info. So I'm just super impressed with that whole thing. I think that's very, very cool. They've really kind of pulled it together with that bad boy. So yeah, I am enjoying vaping on this very much. It's on the eFusion Mini at the moment. It is an absolute twat to coil though. I can't lie to you. It is a pain in the dick. So I cheated with this one, and I just put a spaced coil in because then you haven't got to worry about you know, kind of bringing it together and all that sort of stuff. But we'll go through that when we go through the review. And finally, I think this is finally, when it comes to hardware, they sent me this geometry tank, which is on the I haven't got any batteries in it. I thought it was a bit light. It's on the eFusion Duo, which I have been rocking happily. Let's pop a couple of these batteries in there. Now, if you saw my review of the Duo, you'll know that I am a massive, massive fan. The idea of having a device where you can have both 18650s or a LiPo in it, I think is awesome. And the pre-orders, I don't know if the pre-orders are starting to get filled now or literally any day now. But yeah, I'm a big fan. Now, with this Gemini tank, to me, it reminds me of my days in Greece. Not in the shed in Greece fixing the bike, but Greece as in the country. Oh no, that's the wrong one. Hold you on. There we go. Because of this kind of pattern going around the top, and obviously the blue and everything else. Now I think you get a load of different colour O-rings with this as well, so you can make it pretty much any colour you fancy. But yeah, decent little airflow on it. Decent little airflow. The only problem with this Gemini that I've kind of really encountered is we're going back a little bit and it's not top fill, and I think top fill is one of these things that we kind of expect now to some degree, you know. But it does its job, and it's not a bad little flavour tank either, and it's cheap. It's really cheap. So we like cheap and we like flavour. So those I think are really cool. So obviously I've got to do a lot more builds in those tanks and all that sort of good stuff. But I do think that this is going to be my last bunch of tanks for a little while. What else has been going on? I did order the sort of expanded potbelly version of the glass tank for the Plato. Pardon me, which takes that up to a 5mm tank. It looks a bit funky. It does look funky, but then again, it looks kind of a similar shape to me, so I think it's quite cool. So I'm looking forward to that coming. Now, what else? Is there anything else new for you guys? Is there anything else new? No, I've got myself a little bit more organised. I've got a shelf thingy going on here at the moment with stuff, with things to review on the top, and stuff and things and stuff, and I'm still a bit of a mess, but you know, we're getting there. Oh, I do have to do a review about this. Nightcore were kind enough to send me this, and I am just going to throw a quick review up. I'm not entirely sure what I can say other than it charges your batteries and does a couple of other bits and bobs. But yeah, I've had no problems with this little puppy, and this is the IM20. No, UM20 even. Can't even read. This is the UM20 from Nightcore. So yeah, I'm pretty. I like this for a little sort of travel charger. I think this is going well. Now, what else? The Orgvape people did send me this Aleria RTA. Now you might be able to see through there that you can see your coils. There's a velocity style deck going straight through there. There's basically a glass barrel that goes over the coils on this, and that allows you to see the inside of your thing, which is interesting. So I told them not to send me this, so we'll see whether that gets reviewed or not. But as is, that is all of the review stuff that I've got coming up with the... There is something, I'm forgetting something. Oh yeah. We've got this, which is the new 2mm tank from Kanger. And this is it works in a very similar way to the tank on the Cubis. Is it? Is that the one? Yeah, the cuboid is the mod, isn't it? And the Cubis is the tank. It works in a similar way to that and the tank section of the IO, in as much as when you take the top off, it's a press down and turn, and then the coil comes out with the top section of the tank. The airflow on it is very restricted mouth to lung. No, sorry, very restricted lung. I do apologise. Now we've got this. I've not actually juiced this. I juiced it, sorry, and then put it to one side about an hour ago. So let's have the first little shot. We've got this at 24 watts at the moment. Flavour on it's pretty good. I'm going to take that up a little bit though. Let's go to 30. Yeah, that's it. It tastes all right. It is quite a restricted airflow. But doesn't taste too bad. Doesn't taste too bad at all. It comes with stainless steel coils and nickel, or a stainless steel already pre-installed and a nickel coil as a spare. So you don't get the option of having a Kanthal. Personally, I would like to have seen the stainless steel and a Kanthal coil, because especially if this is going to be for kind of starters or new into vaping people, I think it's very easy for people to accidentally jump into wattage mode when they're using an NI200 coil. So at least with stainless, you've got temp control, plus you've got the ability to use it in wattage, so it's safer in both ways. So that's what I would like to see things kind of moving towards. But then again, you know, would you listen to me? No. That's not bad. That's not bad. It's got that look though, isn't it? With that thing. Let me do the thing again. Look, you see, look at all the dust on there. What's that all about? That is just nah. I get that you can see what's going on with your window. That's super. And what's going on with your juice, but that doesn't look too nice to me. It's quite tall as well. It really is quite tall. What can I compare it to? If I compare it to the Moonshot, which holds 2 mil also, you can see it's quite a bit taller. I think this what did I call it? Geometry tank. I think that's around 2 as well, and that's a similar sort of height. This is a little bit shorter, but yeah. So we'll give it a good old go, as we do with everything else. But there we go. Now there is some good stuff coming up, in as much as I should have prepared this. Every vlog I say, oh, I should have been more prepared, and every vlog I forget. If you go to vapingbiker.co.uk and look at my blog page, you'll see that I put some information about Innokin's new board. Now, Innokin have a new board / chipset, whatever you prefer to call it, coming out, and I've put a little bit of information up about that. It's called the Ethon. If it's AE, that's E, isn't it? Ethon chipset. Real power and extreme accuracy. Now, I got awfully excited about this because precise coil resistance reading down to 0.00000, which I thought was going to be absolutely spectacular, because I know Innokin have been working on getting temp control with Kanthal since kind of this time last year. So I was hoping that they'd cracked it with this. Unfortunately, this is not the case with this particular mod, but it's certainly going to make it should make all temp control or temp limiting a lot more accurate. Obviously, you've got other factors such as the tank or RDA and the connections and all that sort of good stuff, but it is going to be covering stainless steel and all the normal temp metals. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. I really am. Now it's going to be 100 watts, and it looks, on the rendering that I've got a picture of on my on my blog, it looks similar to a cool fire, but with a screen on the side as opposed to or a screen on the flat rather, as opposed to kind of where the buttons are. Now I don't know if that's going to look like that at all. Oh, excuse me. But we'll wait and see about that. It's got an ultra low standby power consumption, which is good, and it's got a super fast, or it's called ultra fast, 0.2 second from click to vapor. So we're going to get a nice quick kind of startup time. That's the only issue that a couple of people had with previous cool fires, saying that it would sort of take a second to get that heat to the coils. Now I must admit, when I vape, I tend to kind of, as I'm bringing it to my mouth, I'm pressing the button. So that's not something I generally. It's not something I generally notice, having kind of a delay, unless it's a really extreme one, you know. So yeah, but I'm kind of looking forward to this VDC power output with clear wave noise cancellation. So hopefully it should just be a really clean, effective kind of. I imagine it's going to be quite SX/DNA like for the power to coil kind of smoothness, if that makes sense. Now I know a lot of you won't care about that, but there will be some of you that will. But like I say, I've got a little bit of information, not a whole hell of a lot, but if you check out www.vapingbiker.co.uk with the blog, then it's under Innikin's new board, looking promising. So that's that to look at. I've still got a dry throat, you know, rough as piss, you know. I was poorly a couple of weeks ago, and because I have no immune system, it means that things just take forever to bugger off. While I'm on the website, I've got a new design of a lovely little pin-up lady, which, if I remember, I'll put a picture of up here. Thanks to Jimmy. So that's looking great under the merchandise section. But I'm not going to blag on about that too much. Now, what have I been watching on YouTube? What have I been watching? I looked at Mark Todd's Lacimo mod review. Watched that this morning. It's very gimmicky. It really is. But I don't have one, so I haven't kind of looked at it in depth. Now, is there anything else? Oh, the Goon RDA. The Goon RDA seems to be getting a lot of coverage at the minute. It's kind of all over Instagram with a lot of the builders and all that sort of stuff. So 528 Customs, I think, are part of the people that have come out with it, and it certainly looks interesting. It really does. I've seen a few places in the UK have pre-order, and it's around the £60-65 mark. Now there is this, and there is also, what's the other one? What is the other one? Now, we covered this on the Ideal Home Show on Thursday night, and I brought this out because I wanted to show people it was a sort of a similar idea. Now, the Goon has it's basically a 4-post, well, 3-post, but 4 holes, I think, and it has kind of clamps that go along the top with 2 screws holding them in, or holding them on top of your wire, and 2 of those, one on each side, if you like. And it looks like it could be, excuse me, it looks like it could be either really good for holding wire, or, yeah, you know. Now, it is called, here we go, it's the Shuriken RDA by Cthulhu. That's only got single screw kind of clamps that come down on top of the posts, rather than the dual. Now, a lot of people are talking about it. They really are, and my reservations kind of come from the idea that if you've got something that's wide and you put something else wide on there, if you've got kind of different thickness wires, or in as much as You know, you've got 3 core Claptons or more or whatever else, and they're not in at exactly the same angle. As you clamp them down, are they both going to connect as much? You know, each one is going to connect the same amount. So that kind of concerns me, and also the potential of really wrenching it down, because some of them look as though they've got, I don't know if it's the Goon or the Cthulhu one, but they look like they've got brass posts. And if they've got brass posts or brass post holes, if they're gold plated, then job's a good one. But if they're brass posts, then not only have we got the issue with having brass in them in the first place, but also there is the chance that the stainless screws that they put in them could strip them out quite easily if you're trying to get those wires connected. Now, that's just my thoughts on it, and I haven't seen one, so I can't give you any indication as to whether that's fact or not. I may be talking completely out of my arse, and that could be the best thing since sliced bread. It's nice to see something different coming out. Obviously, everything at the moment has velocity style decks, and they're brilliant, but it's good to see something different. Oh, I just had a thought about something. I did think that I had... No, I don't think I've been given anything. I've seen an RDA with a different what's name somewhere. What else have I been watching? Yeah, the last Goon lookout I saw was from Own Boy Josh. He's the guy that kind of green screens himself and puts himself as a little mini person in the reviews, which is pretty cool. But he's had a look at a Goon recently, so that was interesting. Is there anything else? Obviously, there was Grimm's travel vlog. Do you want me to do a travel vlog? Obviously, next weekend we've got Vape Jam in the UK. I don't know if there's really any interest for me to sort of video various bits along the travel. I'm going to do some stuff at the show, obviously, and I'm going to try and bring you guys some pretty cool stuff in there as well. But are people actually interested in the vloggy, bit going there? I don't know. I don't really watch vloggers, so I don't really know what that's all about. So let me know. Let me know your thoughts on that one. Now, what else? Is there anything else exciting? A few people have looked at some lovely high-end mods. Todd looked at the Kenzie mod recently, which is a weird-looking thing, but also looks spectacular. I hope to grab my little hands on one of those at some point in time. Vaping Vic V1CK had his last vlog. He wore the someone mentioned on Facebook that he should have a beard, I think, and and I decided that if he needed more subscribers, he should get a beard, because all quality vape reviewers had beards. Obviously, that's tongue in cheek. So I sent him a beard, and he had to wear it. And I think he loved every second of it, really. It looked quite worn when he put it on, so I imagine he's been wearing it around the house, being all roughy tufty. But yes, that's tickled me. But to be honest, there's not been a whole bunch that I've been watching. The Vaping Bogan had a cool vlog. I think it was about this time last week, and yeah. So just looking, I don't think there's anything. I haven't seen anything that's really knocked my spots off recently. I haven't seen anything and gone, do you know what? I need to get one of those in for review. I need to get that sorted out, because I haven't really seen a lot that's really kind of that's really got my juices flowing. But there's probably a whole bunch of stuff out there. I think some people or some companies may be waiting. I am very windy today. I do apologise. I think some people may be waiting for the convention season to really be in full effect and to launch products at the convention. So I think we've got that kind of quiet before the storm at the moment, and things will all be going bonkers on there at some point in time. So we're going to get a whole bunch more in. I do hope we get to see a lot more drippers coming out in the very near future. But that's it with YouTube. Now I've gone over all of that stuff. Now juice-wise, what have I been doing juice-wise? So we got sent, us and the Ideal Ohm Show got sent this Dunford's stuff. This Dunford's e-liquid, and this is Tanuki, which is some kind of almost tea stuff, maluchi or malaki or something like that, along with some custard, and this is quite a nice bright flavour actually. I've not really kind of got through too much of it as yet because I've been using it on a dripper, and obviously because I've got so many tanks at the minute, I've kind of not been using the drippers as much as I would like, but that's been going down quite nicely. What else have we got going on? The Grey Haze people sent me through some Evil Cloud stuff, which is pretty cool. And so I've been giving that a go. Which one have I really been liking? Their blush formula, which I think is the strawberry and something. Like a strawberry milkshakey sort of stuff. I think that's the one, and that's been quite pleasant. And they also dropped by this custard drop, which is a new one that those guys have got as well, and that's not been too bad either. So I've been quite enjoying going through those. It's been nice to go through a few different juices for a change, because I don't do juice reviews. I tend to show you guys in vlogs kind of what I've been vaping on and what I've been enjoying, and to be honest with you, it kind of probably goes out to more people than would watch a juice review anyway. But you know me, I'm very simple with my juice tastes, as much as if it's not a flavour that goes bosh right in the chops, then it's no good for me. I'm not a subtle person. So that's it, I think. I've still been trying to play out with my new Lumix FZ72 camera. So I've been trying to take pictures of the moon and all that sort of stuff to try and get there. I've got to go hardcore with the learning to vlog with it. I was going to record it today on there, but I wussed out, I'm afraid, so I didn't. What else? We've got... what else? I was about to say something that I didn't really need to go into. I think we're done. Are we done? I think we're done. Oh, I will have to have a look on YouTube. But somebody asked me what was the helmet that's my little Scully baseball cap's in there now, and it's a Biltwell. It's a Biltwell helmet, and it's just super light, and it's not for road use, so you'd never catch me on the road wearing it. Safety first, kids. Safety first. If you're on a motorbike, safety first. I've been using a lot of this Peronin wicking recently, which Rick, who I kind of co-host with on the Ideal Home Show, sent me and the guys, and that has actually been going down really, really rather well. What else has been happening? I have also, not that one. Oh, dropping stuff. I tried Kendo a while ago. I think I pointed out this stuff in a previous vlog. This is the original Kendo, which is some funny old stuff because it takes a while to suck in your juice, but once it does, it works really, really well. This is less kind of cotton in a ball. This is more kind of stretched out a little bit, which has been a lot easier to use. But otherwise I've been using the normal stuff like my VCC, Vapor's Choice Cotton, and the occasional Muji pad here and there. Now, there isn't anything else overly exciting that I've got to show you for review. There's no other bits and bobs happening. My hair's going super floppy. Look at that, look, it's a real old man haircut. But I think I'm getting a trim before the show next weekend. So I'm travelling down to Vape Jam in the UK on Friday. So next week there may not be a vlog on the Sunday because I'll be coming back from Vape Jam. So I will try and cover that as much or as quickly as I can soon afterwards. But they shouldn't impede on the reviews of products that follow afterwards. If I can, I'll try and squeeze out a Vape Jam vlog on the Monday. But obviously getting these together and editing all the stuff I think could be quite a time-consuming thing. So we'll see what happens there. But that is something I'm really looking forward to. If you're there, then pop up and say hello. It'd be cool to meet you and say hi. And I love all that sort of bollocks. That makes me so happy. Yeah. Feel free to buy us a beer. I think that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That is it. Yes, good. Right, I'm going to be moving on a couple of bits. I need to sell things like my cloud maker and my DNA Rolo and a few bits and bobs. So I'll probably put things up on the on my Facebook page, on my Vaping Biker Facebook page. But these are things that I've purchased rather than stuff that's been sent for a review, and they're also things that unfortunately I'm not only going to say I am only going to do the postage for in the UK rather than abroad and all the rest of the world, purely because it all gets jolly expensive, to be honest. But yeah, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching. Let's have a little look. 45 minutes, not terrible. Not terrible for a vape vlog. I'm okay with that. Look at all the time. I just can't get excited about tanks anymore. I really can't. Let's have a go with the moonshot, shall we? We'll have a little blast with the moonshot. Vapegeek.co.uk for the E-Fusion Duo, and this is the Mini. But if you want to go for the Duo, then those guys have got the let's say, I think the pre-orders should be coming in any time now. How's that? I'm surprised with this, and I am surprised the top cap doesn't get hotter. That's nice, that. This is the Jungle Bake from Evil Cloud. I thought I'd try that one for a change. Yeah, very good. It does smell a bit like feet. It tastes nice, though. No, it's not feet, that one. It's very fruity. Very fruity. I had a juice this week. I can't remember what it was, and it really smelled like feet. I can't remember what it was. Right. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Dean the Vaping Biker. If you've liked it, it's the first time you see me, hit subscribe or like or any of that rubbish. Leave some comments down below. And like I say, please let me know if you want me to do a travel vlog for the coming convention with Jam. So that'll be the first time I've done that sort of thing. So I feel a bit weird. Do people really give a shit? I don't know. And so there we go. That's it. That really is it. Yeah. Thanks very much for watching. I've been Dean the Vaping Biker. This has been the Sunday vlog. Thank you very much for watching. Go out and have it large.
I'm fading, it's come to an end. I feel an obligation to start again.